Now, Turkey's Prime Minister says a controversial redevelopment plan will go ahead in central Istanbul. The plan to demolish a public park in Taksim Square has sparked days of angry protests, but Recep Tayyip Erdogan says he isn't backing down.
Yapılmış olan bir topçu kışlasının
That military building was removed and demolished in the 1940s, and we're trying to return the original back to its existence and it be rebuilt in line with the original features. In our country, some people are fighting against this. We are against majority oppressing the minority. However, we can never, ever accept the minority oppressing the majority.
And the protesters say they are determined to stay in the park until the project is cancelled.
He's always pressing the people about that he's gonna continue to that project, but I don't think that he's gonna be able to do that, because when Turkish young people see the construction vehicles around this park, everybody is gonna become together here, and we are gonna try to protect this park from his shopping mall projects.
And we are still hoping Gezi Park stay just as park, not as shopping mall or something like that, because it's public space and we want it as public space, that's all.
Well, let's talk to Bilal Margit. He's a member of parliament from the governing AK Party. He joins us live now from Istanbul. Bilal Margit, yesterday the President and Deputy Prime Minister seemed to be giving conciliatory messages to the protesters. But today, Prime Minister Erdogan seemed to be remaining defiant. So what exactly is the AK Party's stance on these protests? Briefly, if you can.
Okay, thank you very much for having me here. First of all, Turkey is a stable and functioning democracy, so this is not the biggest problem that we ever faced in our Turkish Republican history. Many countries in Europe, many democratic countries like UK, like France, like Spain, like Greece, had these kind of demonstrations, but at the end they achieved a final solution that make people happy. So the thing is that we have to listen to each other, and it shouldn't be a kind of my way or highway kind of negotiation. The Deputy Prime Minister yesterday had a meeting with the representatives of the protesters, and they listed their demands. And the President also gave a speech that trying to reduce the tension in the public. When we are talking about the project, it's not just a shopping mall or it's not just rebuilding of a military barrack in Taksim Square, but this is also expansion of the pedestrian roads, and also this aims to take the automobile traffic underground, and at the end the Taksim Square, which is the largest square in Istanbul, will be reserved only pedestrians.
Okay. Are we expecting any more conciliatory moves from other people in the government? Because we seem to be seeing different approaches from the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister.
I think it is not really different than each other, but in democracies it's normal that you can hear different voices from the same organization. But I believe that this is not different. The Deputy Prime Minister listened to the demands, and the Prime Minister is not in Turkey right now, and he said again, we have to distinct groups. There is a group of people who came together from various backgrounds, and their aim is to protect the park, and they had the environmental concerns. But on the other hand, there is another group who turned to process the demonstrations into anti-government demonstrations, and they tried to hijack the protests. And we have to make the separation, and under this separation we can achieve a final solution. Okay. You cannot make an agreement. You cannot make an agreement with those who attack the public and private properties, and you cannot make an agreement with those who trying to attack the Prime Minister's office. But of course, we do more than respect to environmental concern, people who has environmental concerns, and we do more than respect to different political views.
Let me ask you: do you think these protests represent a significant section of the Turkish population, or is this just a minority protest?
I can't say that this is a majority, but even if one person says something about the project, then I believe that in democracies we have to listen it. As the Deputy Prime Minister said, referendum might be a solution for the current problem that we are having in Taksim right now. But the most important thing is that you cannot make a generalization by looking at the Taksim Square or by looking at the different parts of the Turkey. But again, as I said before, we shouldn't let the majority oppresses the minority, and also we shouldn't let the minority oppresses the majority in democracies.
Let me get a final thought from you, Mr. Margit. I mean, Turkey's stock market dropped after Prime Minister Erdogan's speech in Tunis. If these protests drag on, how much trouble do you think Turkey's economy could be in? Because Turkey, as we know, depends on international money to keep itself going. So how much worry is there about the damage to the economy?
Turkey is not a small country. Turkey is not a third world country that will be easily affected by these kind of demonstrations. We have a strong economy. We don't have too much foreign debt, and I believe that under democracies, the protests happen, and Turkey is not a small country that is going to be very much affected. The economy is going to be negatively affected by these kind of protests.
Bilal Majid, thank you for talking to Al Jazeera.